that out of the way. Hey everybody, Jason McCumsey, Redbeard Rebuilding, coming to you from at home in the shed. We got some good news with these. Make sure I don't hit anything. Check it out. We are now one piece. Well, two pieces into one. I'm leaving that gap right there. I'm not sure if you can tell with the way the camera I have it set up. There's what I actually might do. I'm still debating it. I got to sand things a little bit here to make them equal in size, but I think I'm going to sort of bevel this side and this side, so that way they're going down in and it gets filled up with the epoxy when I put it in there. I think it'll just help adhesion for one, support for another one, and just put it right in there. Right now, I don't have anywhere to put this camera right now. I don't have the tripod in here. To my knowledge, I don't think I have a tripod in here. So I can't put you anywhere. Right now, I'm looking down because I have it on my balancer. I'm going to move you in a second. Currently, it is just this little bit tail heavy, which I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. Now it's only centimeters, okay, millimeters maybe, that it's over my line. And obviously we're not exact. We don't have a grip cord on here either. But what I want to measure out right now is something that might help that. Is I want to see how long we are. So I'm going to lay this out here. And I figure if I narrate what we're doing, it'll be all right. I'm still a little packed in here. Kids' sleds still haven't gone back up to where they need to be. I got javelins that need worked on, and some that are already finished. Some that also need worked on, but they're not worried about till the next year. This set here needs to get finished. That one's done. Those two are getting picked up tomorrow, so it's a bit of a cluster in here. But I moved in October, so we just kind of quick made a setup in here, and I just haven't had the time to finalize it, I guess to say. So what I've got here is my tape, as you can tell. I'm going to disappear for a second, go down here on this end, line up my tape to where it needs to be. I'm going to disappear over here. So it's 2 meters, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Oh, wow. Yeah, we are too long. So a men's javelin is legally supposed to be between, yeah, I'm at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's measured out in millimeters, which I'm at 2067. I think it's the proper way to read that, which is going to mess up with the fact that we are now put together, because I am going to take off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be 60 millimeters of, yeah. So if we take off 60 millimeters, that's going to shorten the tail by 6, 60. I'm saying that over and over and over again. I'm still an American, and I'm used to the American system sometimes. So, yeah, because we are right at 2,670. If I'm reading this right, 2,670. Because that's, yeah. So we need to take off 60 of it. And that's definitely going to make us front end. So let's do an experiment with some grit cord. Well, I'll wrap this back up here. I don't need to take it off of here. Can't wait till I get that set up underneath there. There's some extra cording up here. We should be enough of it in here, I think. We just want to figure out what we weigh. Piece of tape. So I'm going to guess that we're, so I'm going to guess that we are way off on our weights as well. So we got a positive, but we also got a negative at the same time. Yeah, because we take off that, that's going to move. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm talking out loud, and more to myself than to you, but that's just the way we got to ring it. So if I do this, I'll just wrap it around. It'll tell me how much I got, just to give myself an idea. And that actually might make measurements better, maybe. We'll figure that out when we get there. So, I mean, I got to go back to sanding the center and make it work to what we need. So, I mean, that's enough cord to call it. And let's make sure we got everything back out of the way. Wait for that to go to 0. Come on, stop rolling. Yeah. We're already at 800 grams and we're not even painted. So that yeah, that's no good. So taking off millimeters, we said about 70 millimeters. We're over 70 millimeters. So I want to take off at least 60 of it. All right, so let's take this cording off. So get this out of the way. I know that can only be used for a girl's one because there's not enough cord on that for a guy's. But, all right. Try to give you guys an example here. Where are we at here? 2. All right. So, I'm going to try to show this to you correctly. Yeah. Hold on. I want to do this right, so I'm showing it to you the best way possible and not screwing anything up. Stay put. There's the correct end. All right, let's put this on here. Get it there. So let's make sure we're there. Move that down there. So there's 2. I want to keep my 2. And yeah, we go to there. So we'll turn this around. Right now, I got the 2 meters. And then we got to put everything into here, which is centimeters, and then it goes down to millimeters when you're trying to read everything and measure everything. So obviously, you got your 2. The minimum of a men's javelin comes to this 60 mark. Right now, we're in between the 6 and the 7. We only want, honestly, to be right at that number 1. That's as far as we want. So we've got all of this sitting in here. That's too much. So if I'm going to take this part, I'm going to show you some stuff, see if I can be informational for you. I want to pause you. Hold on. All right. So I just recorded like 15 minutes worth of video, which I thought I was recording, but I didn't press the button correctly. So we're going to try to do this. Right now, I have this set up in increments like I would on the tape. On this, what we want to end up doing is cutting down to this. This will give us the 261 that we're looking for. And that is the extra that we would have to play with if I cut it right there. What I'm probably going to do is cut it here for the safe side of things. But what we're going to do here real quick is I have go to 0 millimeters. There we go. I got my gauge. All right, that's plenty big enough. We're going to measure at this point. I'm going to do my best to do that on this. I can't see what I'm doing. All right, go back around. So we're there at that point that I mentioned, which is 29.78 millimeters. 29.78 millimeters. And it was going to meet up on this one where it measures 29.55 millimeters. So that's going to require a little bit of sanding on this end to make it match up with this end, which is no big deal. But the concerning point on this is going to be the measurements on the rest of this part of the shaft, and if they meet up with the measurements that may meet up with this part of the shaft. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have to do that. I don't think this javelin's, it's going to work. Is it going to hold up to a championship worthy throw? I have no idea, because I have sanded this down a good bit compared to what it was. And I don't know if this is going to handle the extra flex and be as stiff as they want it to be now that I've done that. For all I know, it's going to break and shear right there. I have no idea. So that's why this is fun. This is what we're doing. This is what we're playing with. But if I need to, I'm going to do that. I am going to make this a perfectly legal javelin just in case it can. Now, it's never going to see international throws because the international is stupid and they don't let rebuilt javelins go. Okay, that's a different story. But I don't know enough about carbon to know if what I'm doing to this javelin is going to just call it kaput. Because I've had to sand the inside of this shaft so that way it would meet up with that sleeve. I've sanded both of them at the, not at the same time, obviously, but I've sanded both of them so that way it's not just one being stronger than the other. I have done a little bit to both. But if it doesn't meet the outside diameter, then I got to sand out here. And I have no idea if that's going to work. Because honestly, right now, in all technicality, that tail is too small. If you were here with the previous javelin when I sanded things down and when I talked about the OTE that I fixed already for the countervail, when they built this with this type of carbon, you can see all these little white lines on here that we've talked about before. They put a coat of primer over top of all of this and then sanded it smooth until it hits the correct diameters. I need to do the reverse of that and sand this down, possibly, if it doesn't match up there. I don't know if that is going to make this, I mean, I'm sure in a way it makes it weaker, but will it just go and shatter and break because I've sanded it? I don't know. Will it do it here? I have no idea. At least down here, the sandable part that I've done has support from the sleeve. Any sanding down here is just me making it thinner without the support. I mean, I can't even bend it now, so I just don't know. we're just winging it. I tell you what. So, honestly, what I can try and do while I'm here, if I lay this here, right about there, if I mark it where I would put a grip, where'd my Sharpie go? Sharpie, Sharpie, Sharpie. If I would mark this, give or take, where I would want it to balance, and that Sharpie's dead. Let's try another one. Try it again. Put it there, give or take. And come down here and mark it. Now, so that's give or take where the balance point is. The grip itself, where'd my line go? Generally something like that. Yeah, give or take. It kind of depends on the balance and all that jazz. So if I line this up here, hopefully you guys can just deal with my editing and audibles. There's a word for that. I think I said it already. So if I technically bring it down to there, that's going to go there. That's going, where's the balance point is there. This would sit about there. Try to do it this way so I can give myself a better idea. This is, we're winging this. Flip it that way. So, Sharpie, it would give or take be there. Where'd my lid go? Save the Sharpie. All right. Sorry, I don't have better camera. You're using my phone, okay? So, what I just did, do I have enough room in here? I do. All right, so I basically did that. We'll spin it around till you see that. Okay, so there's this one here is where the grip line was that I talked about. I basically just line it up like this, where I want the new cut to be and where I want it to match. I'm gonna have to do a lot of sanding again. But at least I know it's just on that part. So I did that. And then I marked it to there. Okay. That point there is where the end of the grip is going to be. I don't know if I can do that. Well, man, we're winging this stuff, bud. We're going to try and do this. It just has to hold together so I can take a measurement. I hope you guys are getting a kick out of me doing things that I don't know really what's going on. Yeah, come on. You go up there. You go down there. I need you to sit there. Go like so. And wrap tape around there like so. Stay. Another piece of tape. And we're just going. You should be happy I enjoy doing these things. You should be happy my kids are so asleep right now. They wouldn't be able to do this if they weren't. So, this is my javelin. Give or take. All right, guys. I have changed. Let's see if I can do this. That is my cut mark. So that's why I moved all of this up here. My balance point is about there. Now, where's the end of my tape measure? So, we go down to the point We're just gonna measure the measurements ish that need measured, okay? We're not doing anything crazy. That's about where the grip is. We're just gonna guess that's where the balance point's going to be. Well, I should mark that just so I know what I'm doing here. Otherwise, I won't know where to take the other measurement from. So if we go by, we'll say 6.5. We go by 6.5 as that, as the balance point. I'm just gonna do this real quick. 6.5. Halfway point between there and there is that mark, which is at 53. Come on, Sharpie. Which is 53 and 150 millimeters all the way there. Now let's hope that we can see these things that we're going to do on the tail, because I think, whoa, bring this down here. I don't know if this works anymore. Haha, paint marker works. So we're taking our measurement from the tail down to there, which is right at 4. Stretch that out, bring that down to here. Halfway point is there. 77. So halfway point is 77. Paint pen goes 77. And we need 150 millimeters, which is down here at that arrow. And we'll mark it there. All right. So we're only doing the necessarily measurements. Problem is I don't have a calculator out here, and you're on my phone. So I'm going to leave it at that so you guys know what and I'm going to explain it here real quick what I'm doing. There are, on the shaft end of things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6. We're not worried about number 6 measurements on this. There is 150 millimeters from the tail, which is there. Halfway point between center of gravity and the end of the tail. Let me get around here. Then you have the ones on the front end of the shaft, which, oh, there it is. Sorry, couldn't find it. Halfway point between center of gravity and the tip. Technically 150 millimeters is up here somewhere, so we're not worried about that. And I'm not worried about the measurement. There's measurement here and here, which is its own measurement. That doesn't matter. So you have right in front of the grip and halfway between center of gravity and the tip. Those are the measurements I'm going to be taking, then figuring out the math, and then we'll add it to the next video or blurb, and we'll go from there. I gotta find a piece of paper or something to write on before I continue to blurb at you. Stay safe, throw far, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, so I know I ended the video already, but I'm coming back to you because I just did these quick measurements. Somehow, some way, if I'm right, okay, yeah, if I'm right by my guesstimations on where the balance point is, where my markings are supposed to be on this thing, this is still going to need primer, which is fine. It'll cover up all these cracks and things, which is perfectly fine to me. But the first thing we got to do, cut it, make it fit to the other end again, which sucks because I'm taking off most of it, and we got to sand it by hand all over again. I might be able to figure out a way to make this a little faster, but we'll go from there. So I'm still thinking of cutting it off right there. We're just going to do that right now so I remember what I'm doing. I can cut off the extra tape so it doesn't get affected with the salt. I want to cut right there. And we pray to whichever Lord Almighty wants to help me that it works. If my math is right. So anyway, that's the answer to the previous part of that video. I gotta prime it to make it balance it. Well, it will help the balance and all that fun stuff, but it also do some other things and etc. 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 Make it work. Blah blah blah. Stay safe, throw fire, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'm gonna go eat dinner.